EQ might be the sexiest subject when it comes to pedals and tone shaping for guitarists, but it's probably the most overlooked. What that sound engineer is stating about at your gigs, or why that studio engineer is making so much EQ adjustments to your already perfect sounding guitar tone. To figure out these EQ secrets and tips, I invite you to a new journey. Hi guys, this is Mordy, the autistic guitarist. Yes, I still have that accent. So, in this video we will see some definitions and frequencies influence on sound. We will debunk some myths about EQ. I will give you some tips and tricks. We will analyze the EQ of the greatest guitarists. And finally we will do some sounds experiment. For this review, I will be using this fabulous EQ2 by Source Audio. It lets you shape any frequency at any range that you want. It has also presets, so you can set it up for different guitars or amps. Guys, I would like to thank Steve and Pierce to get me this pedal from Source Audio. And obviously, thank you, Source Audio. First of all, equalization allows you to correct problems and imbalances. Maybe this acoustic guitar is too much bright, or the sound of this electric guitar is too muddy. Whatever the problem is, applying a modest amount of equalization will help. Secondly, the EQ allows you to put each input source in its own pocket, reducing the chance of one instrument masking the other, or causing a build-up around a specific frequency range. Not paying attention to EQ leads, at best, to muddy mixes and at worst, to nightmarish feedback. By isolating the most important frequency ranges for each track, the whole mix can come together as the pieces of a mosaic. We used to play alone in our room or studio and are setting our EQ according to those situations. So we are knocking a hole in the mids and boosting bass and high frequencies. This EQ is really flattering when we are playing alone, but is not good for an overall mix in live band or recording. If we use this EQ in a mix, we will always tend to increase the volume to be heard. Amp EQ is passive. It doesn't boost frequencies, it brings them down. First, each EQ band is essentially a small gain stage. Each time you amplify the signal, you introduce some noise. More you raise the gain by boosting the EQ band, the more noise you add to the mix. First, cut before boosting. Before, I explained that amp EQ is not enough. That's right, the amp EQ is passive, but it's not a mistake of the manufacturers. This is based on the principle cut before boosting. By cutting out unwanted frequencies, you end up gaining more control over what's left. 2. Focus on one frequency range per channel. Now about acoustic guitar. EQing is not so hard, but getting an acoustic guitar to set right in the mix can be really challenging. Below 60 Hz, all you get is boomy bass, and it doesn't do anything but muddy up your mix, so you will want to cut it straight away. But remember that the placement of the mic is the best way to deal with boominess. So for an acoustic guitar you can globally cut down the range from 100 to 300 Hz. Be careful cutting too much. The body of the instrument is between 200 and 300 Hz. Between 2 kHz and 5 kHz you will find the presence of the instrument, with the high-end sparkle centered around 15 kHz. Okay, now the electric guitar. Electric guitar's EQ is not a whole lot different from acoustic guitar. You can bring anything down below 80 Hz. The range between 100 and 400 Hz carries the body of the instrument, and the main resonance living between 400 Hz and 2 kHz. It gets tricky from here, since there is a lot of complex information between 2 kHz and 3 kHz. This is where you will find the snap of the pick and the harshness. Okay, now some definitions. Tighten. Insert a sharp high-pass filter to reduce frequencies below 100 Hz. This opens more room for kick and bass, and give more of an open back cabinet. Beef up. We saw it. Too much boost in the range of 200-400 Hz gives a muddy sound, but a little boost gives a beefier sound. Articulate. You get your sound articulated, boosting the frequencies between 3 kHz and 4 kHz. It brings out harmonics and peak noises. But be careful, the ear is more sensitive in this frequency range. When you need a guitar to cut through a mix, boosting this range will help. Honk. A boost at 1 kHz to 2 kHz emphasizes the tone between beef and articulation. With a honk, the sound is thick but not dark as the beefy frequencies. The honk is globally good for guitar solos. let's see the frequencies used by Slash. As we can see in this always on the run guitar track, we don't have any frequencies below 80 Hz and above 3 kHz. I am sorry I don't allow you to hear the track, but I want this video to get monetized. So I will leave you the links of the isolated tracks in the description. And now let's see the frequencies used by Steve Lukather. So for Steve Lukather, I choose the Rosanna solo. As you can see, no frequencies below 400 Hz and no frequencies above 3 kHz. It may sound narrow playing alone, but it's perfect to cross the mix. And to conclude, let's see the frequencies used by Bryan May. Bryan May is known for his mid-range sound. And as you can see in the solo of Bohemian Rhapsody, we have no frequencies below 250 Hz and no frequencies above 2 kHz. As for the other isolated tracks, I will leave you a link in the description. That's it for today. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Don't hesitate to leave me a comment. Please guys, don't forget to subscribe. It's really important for the channel. You can hear my music, The Autistic Guitarist, on iTunes and on Spotify. And buy my book, Autism, Falafel and Rock and Roll, on Amazon. See you guys!